Hi, everyone. We would like to welcome you to a short series of interviews with a variety of guests that are joining us during Recovery Month and Day to celebrate recovery and highlight that recovery is possible. Besides being a celebration, Recovery Month also showcases that recovery is a pathway that one cannot walk alone. Even though recovery works in parts through individual efforts, the soil and structural environments are essential. Therefore, we should put efforts in creating the right environment to recover by reducing stigma and allowing a person in recovery to grow in their own pace. Before moving on to the interviews, I would briefly like to introduce ourselves. My name is Cressida and I'm representing the World Federation Against Drugs, which is a multilateral community with almost 370 non-governmental organizations and over 500 individuals from 64 countries. Our members represent all regions of the world. Our common aim is to strengthen prevention, increase access to treatment, and promote recovery. And we believe that only together we can work towards reaching this goal on a global level with a gender and child sensitive perspective. My dear colleague Mulka is representing our WFAD Gender Working Group, and I would like to hand the word over to her to introduce herself and the working group.
Everybody, my name is Mulka Nisik, and as Cressida said, I'm today on behalf of the Gender Working Group, which was created within the WFAD to specifically address the drug use and addiction among women, gender-based violence, and also its correlations with the healthcare, treatment, and recovery. And it's our great pleasure to have Dave here with us, and I'm going to hand over to Dave immediately to introduce yourself and the work you're doing.
Yes, hello everybody. Thanks for taking time out of your busy days to watch these videos. I'm Dave Closson, the producer and host of the Drug Free America Foundation's podcast, Pathways to Prevention. So a little bit about my personal background. When I was 21 years old, I was deployed to Iraq as an Army infantryman and then a recon sniper team leader. And I saw a lot of combat. And during my first week in country, I was driving a Humvee that was hit by an improvised explosive device. Now, I didn't realize it at the time, but I had suffered a traumatic brain injury. And that seemed to be a turning point in my own substance use journey. After I returned home from a year-long deployment, I jumped right back into college. And I was struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder, the undiagnosed traumatic brain injury, anxiety, and depression. And that led me to drinking. And I was drinking because I didn't feel like I fit in. I was older than all the other students. I had these life experiences that couldn't compare. And I was struggling with the PTSD, traumatic brain injury as well. And that took me down for several years in that struggle. And I never reached out for help. I thought, I did so much in Iraq. I've lived in a combat zone. Why can't I handle this, get over this on my own? I thought I had to. But then finally, I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I focused on my strengths. I looked to what made me good as a soldier, the discipline, the mission oriented, the vision, the drive, the strength, the routines. And the more I leaned into those, the more I was able to see that my life didn't have to be the way that it was, and I could change. I tapped into my own inner strength. And that led me to eventually work as a university police officer. And it didn't take long being a police officer on a college campus to realize the impact alcohol and other drugs would have on the way I did my job. So pairing that with my own personal struggles and also seeing the impact as a police officer, I heard about this thing called prevention science and evidence-based prevention. It's like, makes perfect sense. Let's do more of that so others might not have to deal with the adversity that I myself had to deal with. Now, I've been all in on prevention ever since. And we are all prevention leaders. We are all prevention influencers. How you show up, how you talk, how you interact with others shapes the culture. And that culture is the strategy. That culture is and can be a protective strategy to help create a safe, stigma-free, and drug-free world for all of us.
What the podcast you mentioned, what is it about, and how did it come about, and what is the background story of it? And also, to bombard you with questions, what has been done in your podcast, and what is the vision moving forward?
Yes, yes. So the Pathways to Prevention podcast is one where we're engaging stakeholders, prevention leaders, inspirational leaders, and individuals just from across the globe that are working in drug demand reduction, everything from government, academia, clergy, preventionists, treatment professionals, and persons in long-term recovery. Some of our topics they range from current trends in the global substance use, strategies to reduce drug demand, and how to best adapt those strategies to the ever shifting just substance use landscape. It is always changing, and so we're here to lift up the great work that is going on around the globe with hopes to help educate our listeners and also inspire our listeners and maybe even encourage a few new connections, collaborations, and partnerships because prevention is better together. When it comes to the vision, continue to do just that, to expand our reach, to find and engage and lift up more and more of you all that are doing such amazing work across the globe so we can learn from each other and support each other.
Okay, that's great. And how would you describe your work regarding like persons in recovery? Do you have any story that you want to highlight or something inspirational?
Ooh, all right. So the pressure's on, something inspirational. But what I would like to share is we've had several guests over the past year and a half that are oh so inspirational, sharing their stories, their personal stories in recovery, but then also very inspirational leaders that are changing the face of recovery, what recovery looks like, and helping others reach recovery as well. A little bit about myself, actually, January of 2023 will be my 3-year mark for being alcohol free, sober life. So I'm excited for that as well. And as far as my own personal recovery, my journey, being able to talk to others from across the globe as well that are sharing their stories just fills my tank up and makes me stronger as well in my own recovery because it is better together.
You're so right. It is better together, and congratulations on your 3-year mark soon. Regarding these inspirational stories, how often do you publish them? Like, how often does the podcast actually publish a story, and where can people find them?
Yes. So we put out episodes on the first Wednesday of every month. So monthly episodes. And the podcast is available on all major podcasting platforms from Apple to Spotify, Google to iHeartRadio as well. You can access it there in any of those directories, or you can go to our website, the Drug Free America Foundation website, which I believe will put the links below to access that below this video. But it is out there, and again, monthly episodes, and it's Pathways to Prevention.
That's great. And again, congratulations on your milestone in recovery. And do you have a message for anybody in recovery and also organizations working in this field? Because it's Recovery Month and we really want to celebrate it.
Yes. So for the organizations, it's along that same lines. Together is better. Get out, engage with other organizations, with other subject matter experts, and of course, those in recovery to learn from each other so we can also better support each other because we're all in this together. For individuals, there's a quote that I just hold true that is my sort of guiding compass that reminds me to keep me on the path and bring back some strength. And it's that from Mahatma Gandhi that every worthy act is difficult, Ascent is always difficult. Descent is easy and often slippery. So remember, it's that ascent. It's going to be difficult, but it is oh so worth it.
Wow, that's brilliant, Dave. Thank you so much for this and for your inspiring message.
Thank you all for putting this together and continuing to do the work that you do. It's been an honor.